All right, Jimmy, can you tell us how does the manufacturers that are working with cobots, how can they make better welds, more quality and faster welds?
So robots in general are going to do a more consistent weld. So we're going to have a smoother, cleaner weld. If you look at production in industry today, everybody overwelds because they need to pass the quality inspection. You look at the waste in filler metal usage when you look at a larger weld. If you take the amount of weld they're using and wasting in filler metal cost and gas alone, that cost over a year or 2 years' time, depending on production, will pay for a welding system. So let alone the 400% productivity increase they're going to gain. So what we noticed was a lot of customers were buying cobots because they couldn't find welders. So they're trying to make their existing welders more productive. But we started getting a lot of phone calls that said, okay, I understand wire feed speed, I understand voltage, but I don't understand what travel speed is because welding by hand, they don't know how fast it is. So we developed an AI, and that AI will automatically take your material type, whether it's steel or stainless or aluminum. You select your material type, you select the thickness, you select your wire diameter and the gas type, and we automatically generate the right travel speed for your wire feed speed. So we get you 99% of the way there just with a simple AI that we built. The nice part about that is I'm going to put the right size weld in every single time. I'm going to save a ton of money on consumables, and I'm going to have a higher quality weld.
Excellent, very interesting. And what is important to consider if you want to speed up your welds? Is that the heat? Is that?
So yeah, the heat input calculation is current times voltage divided by wire feed speed. So typically when you're welding by hand, you're going to weld at a much slower pace. So you're going to get a lot more heat input, a lot more distortion. So if you want a higher quality part with less heat, less distortion, the faster we go, it's divided by travel speed. So that's a multiplication factor, right? So if we can get that travel speed up, we can minimize the heat input, minimize that distortion, maximize our productivity, so we get a better quality weld. The other thing that's with traditional manual welding is weld defects come from starts and stops. And a man that's welding has to stop the arc, reposition, weld again. Stop, reposition, weld again. When we can do it all in one pass because the robot doesn't need to stop to reposition, now we get a weld with fewer potential risks for weld defects.
What are the typical speed that a manual welder is welding at, and what are the improvements you've seen from customer using Cobot?
So it really all depends on the thickness of material, but on average, a human welds at about 8 to 12 inches a minute. We can weld up to 90 inches a minute with this robot. So it's a significant increase. We are looking at expanding that speed. We have some customers that are running 90 inches a minute now and they want more. And their weld process on stainless is unbelievable. Beautiful welds, very little heat input. They're really, really happy with their systems.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that.